Hey everybody, it's Flyin Ryan here with a review of the QFO Labs Quad Fighter. Now this is a pretty unique quadcopter. The main thing about this is it uses what they call the Mimix tilt to fly controller. So you don't have a normal stick controller. You fly by tilting this and angling it, and however you angle it is how the quadcopter angles. And then you've got your throttle and yaw or rudder control on the stick here, and then you've got a trigger which shoots a little infrared laser out of the front, and that's what gives it the Quad Fighter name. I think you can have like 6 different teams, and you know, your color of your LED on the quad tells you what team you're on, and you can shoot at anybody with a different color. So pretty unique, pretty cool little quadcopter. Comes with a, I think, what is it, 300 milliamp hour battery. Takes about an hour and 15 minutes to charge with the included dual port USB charger, and you get about 7 minutes of flight time on it. The USB cable connects to the dual port charger, and it also charges the Mimix. This has a rechargeable battery that you charge off the USB cable, so that's pretty cool. There's no AA or AAA batteries needed for anything. It's all rechargeable and all in the box as it ships. The quad is pretty unique. It's got this upside down look to it, so the motors are on the top with the props on the bottom, whereas most quads, you know, are like that. So I thought that was pretty unique right off the bat, and kind of naturally you can hit the ceiling with this without it stopping. And the canopy has these built-in prop guards which work pretty well. It's just your kind of standard plastic canopy material. I was kind of hoping they'd be a little bit more solid plastic, kind of like the Blade Nano QX. But you know, in my tests, I think I've flown this maybe 10 times, and I have crashed it a lot. And I think I barely broke one of the arms somewhere, but they've held up pretty well for the most part. I haven't broke the landing gear or anything, and I have crashed it pretty good. And they will sell the canopy and batteries, and I believe, you know, some other spare parts at some point. They aren't available yet, but I'm probably going to pick up another canopy, because I would imagine the arm that I broke like just one half of one side, so I imagine that'll break at some point, so you'll probably want some spares of that. But you know, it took me quite a few tries before I got used to the tilt to fly control. It has a good learning curve to it, and it probably took me a good 4 or 5 flights before I could even hover for like a minute without crashing. You know, it's such a different thing to keep in mind how you're holding your controller. I mean, normally with a normal transmitter, I'm not even thinking about how I hold it. So you know, it took some time to get used to that, but once I did, it worked pretty well. The Mimix here has a bunch of sounds, and you know, when you shoot, it makes sounds. It's got all these lights, and so those are showing you the different team lights. When you turn on the quad, it'll sync up and pick a color, and then you can change teams with this button here and pick whatever team you want to be on. But you know, it does a bunch of different things. You can change. It has a beginner and expert mode, and when you change between them, it actually says like normal mode and expert mode or something. It has a little voice in it, so pretty cool little thing here. You know, I just really liked all the lights and sounds and stuff, and it's just a really, that's turning it off. A really neat experience flying it as a you know, tilt to fly, but it's hard. I mean, I still have not been able to mix in yaw control and tilt and like do a nice banked turn or anything. I basically am just keeping a hover and moving the tilt to kind of fly it around. I haven't been able to really mix yaw in. There's also kind of a weird, it's a little stubborn to get into yaw. It kind of fights you, so it's hard to give a little bit of yaw input without affecting the throttle, and So, you know, I imagine you would need to fly this quite a few times before you're anywhere near good enough to actually like fight with it and fly around. And to shoot an enemy, you've got to shoot at the top of the quad here. So it actually would require that you're kind of above and angled down at your enemy to actually shoot them. So I haven't gotten to test this with anybody else. Nobody else that I know has one of these. So I haven't got to try the fighting, but I would imagine it would be pretty tricky, and you would need to be pretty well experienced flying this before you got any good at it. Oh, and this does hold, like, I think like they say, about a 2-hour charge. I said again, maybe 10 flights or so with this, and I haven't recharged this once, and it's still holding its charge. So quite a few flights you can get on that before you have to recharge it. I think that's really about all there is to say about it, so let's go check out some flight footage. Alright, this is the flight review of the Quad Fighter from QFO Labs. And I wanted to point out here, the battery has like a little snap plug on it, so it actually locks into position there, and you've got to make sure to push that tab in before you unplug the battery, because it kind of locks in there. You can't just pull it out. So anyway, you turn the quad on and it'll flash through the colors, and then when you turn on the Mimix controller here, it'll lock into whatever color it was on, and I can press this blue button to change through all the different colors, and each color is a different team, and so you just pick whatever team you want to be on. I'll be green since that's my favorite color. And it says to start out with the quad and the controller facing in the same direction. And you'll see the light on the Mimix there is kind of blinking, and as you find level, it'll turn solid. So there, I've got it level now, and it's solid. One thing I wish is that if you could like calibrate that and just hold it how you want to, and if you hold it there long enough, it'll calibrate and call that level. But you can't. You've got to use whatever they call level, so you've got to find that position and then hold it there until it's solid. And so now I've got it solid. There's shooting, you can see. And I think if you hit the other quad, it like messes up their control for a while, and I think like 3 hits it knocks it out of the sky or something like that. But I'm just going to kind of show off how it controls, and hopefully I can get the controller and the quad in the picture here at the same time. Okay, so I'm level, so now I can give it some throttle, and I'll kind of angle back to bring it out towards the center of the room. Whoa. So it is tricky. It takes a lot of practice. It took me several flights before I could even get to this point. And I'm still not that great at it. Let's try to do a pirouette. Oh man. Hey, how about that? That's the best pirouette I've done. Oh, come back. Wow. Not bad. Oh. So sometimes I end up in a situation where like I feel like I'm leaning at full right and it didn't want to go right. I don't really understand the angle sometimes. Why did it do that? Oh, let's see, I think if I, what was it, press and hold the team color for a minute, or no, I press and hold the trigger, and now I press the team color. No? Press and hold trigger, press power, press and hold trigger. There we go. So you got to hold the trigger and press the team color while you're still holding it. So you could hear it said I went into expert. Normal. Expert. Okay, so let's try it on expert and see how touchy that is. I found that expert actually seems to be a little bit easier when you get a feel for it, because it's a little more responsive to your moves. Let's see if I can do a banked turn. Hey, how about that? That's not bad. Oh, there we go. That was about the best bank turning I've done so far. So I mean, it's fun because, you know, there's a new challenge of learning to fly that makes it interesting, and I find myself flying it as often as I can and just wanting to get better at it. But I still think it would be really hard to actually try to battle somebody with this. Man, I'm doing a lot better than I've done. Whoa, that was weird. Oh, and I have found that with this downward facing prop design, it tends to catch hair in there more. So if you're, you know, you got cats like I do and you've got carpets, you're likely to find hair stuck in there after a crash and whatnot. So, you know, just make sure to pull the props off and clear hair out of the motor shaft if it ever comes up. Let's go back to normal. Ooh. It is tricky learning to, you know, control the throttle with your thumb while you move the angle of the controller around, but it's a lot of fun. I think I really enjoy this thing, and hopefully I will get even better at it someday. I don't know if the controller is really showing up at all or not, but it's pretty responsive. I mean, when I tilt it, it goes. Let's try to take it in for an actual landing here. Let's test my skills out. No rudder though. I don't know why I did that. Maybe this landing idea was a bad idea. Get it level. Oh, almost. Alright, well I think that's a good enough sample of what it's like to fly. I think, you know, it's pretty fun. I think it is something that you'll want to you know, keep trying to get better and better and challenge yourself and have a whole new approach to flying quadcopters. So alright, well thanks for watching, please subscribe, and I'll see you next time.